Hello, my name is Wolfgang, and I want to talk about my equipment I use for infrared photography. I used to have a 5K IMac with an E7 chip and a 32 GB RAM, but it was not really capable for upgrading my Capture One program, so I decided to get a new one. I got an Mac Mini with an M4 Pro chip. It has 14 CPU case and 20 GPU case, 48 GB RAM and 1 TB SSD. Additionally, I got two Samsung portable SSD drives T7. There are faster drives on the market, but I got the information that the difference in speed is not big, and really when I use the internal drive and compare the development speed with the external drives, I cannot really recognize a difference. So I saved my money and got just T7 SSDs. I am very happy with the Mac Mini, and there is a real speed improvement compared to my old iMac. To the Mac Mini I got the Studio display. There are quite some nice alternatives on the market, but I decided to stay with Apple all along. If it comes to camera bodies, I used to have a Sony A7 II converted to full spectrum, but it broke, so I needed a new one. And as I've got already a Sony A7 IV, I got a second one, so I do not get confused with controls anymore, switching from the one camera to the other. I bought a used one and I have it converted to a full spectrum camera. If it comes to lenses, I used to use two lenses. The one was an old 28 to 85 millimeter lens from Minolta, where I needed an adapter to operate it on my Sony A7 II. And I also used Carl Zeiss 1.855 millimeter, an excellent infrared lens, but not really very versatile. From a British website, I got that Tamron's new lenses are also very capable for infrared photography. So I started to use a Tamron 28 to 200 millimeter, what is really great. Additionally, I got a 70 to 180 millimeter, also from Tamron f2.8, and I mean the new version. And I also got the 50 to 400 millimeter for 5 to 6.3. Lately, I got the 28 to 300 millimeter f4 to 7.1. Here you can see my full assemble with the four lenses and the converted Sony A7 IV, what is my infrared equipment. The nice thing about the Tamron lenses, they all use the same filter size. So I've got a full bunch of infrared filters, starting with cut filters. They have a very expensive one from Kolari and two Chinese no-name filters. Then I have also from Kolari an ER chrome filter, and then it goes from 550 via 650, 680, 720, 760, 850 and 950 nanometer filter. For color infrared photography, maybe also for others, I do not believe that it's important to buy a very expensive cut filter. I show you some examples. I have used my second Sony A7 IV, took a picture, then I made a white balance, then I used the Kolari filter, I made a white balance, and then I used the first no-name product from China, made a white balance, and finally I took the second cut filter and did a white balance. And if you look after the white balance, they almost look the same. To connect the filter to my lenses, I use magnetic filter. I used to use them from Manfrotto. They have been very good, but they are not available anymore. By now I found an alternative from Plisti. I got them and I'm using them. They are very similar, they are cheaper, but they are not as strong as a filter I used to have from Manfrotto. If you do also a lot of normal light photography, I would recommend the more expensive Colari filter, because here before and after the white balance it looks very much the same. And the other option is you use a cheap cut filter, but then you should do a manual white balance. You may ask what filter I do use normally, and the answer is easy: the 680 nanometer filter. With this filter I can convert the pictures in anything I want, especially since Capture One introduced the magic brush and the intelligent mask mode. For normal light photography I use a Colari cut filter, because that cut filter is closest to the original built-in cut filter in the Sony. Once in a while I use 550 nanometer, more or less for fun. And once in a while for black and white conversion, I use the 850 or the 950 nanometer filter, but that's really, really, really seldom. I have taken two pictures of the same scene with two different filters. Here I used the 680 nanometer filter, and here I used the 550 nanometer filter, and I want to show to you that I can come more or less to the same end result. Start with a white balance of both pictures. So I take the white balance picker here, do it here with the sky, go to the second picture and do exactly the same. In the moment the pictures are looking slightly different. This one is a little bit more purple bluish, this one a little bit more gray. Now I will create a mask for the sky and for the vegetation. I use a magic brush here, and I will use the M key on my keyboard to make the mask I create visible. And I created already the sky mask, and I add now the vegetation mask by creating a mask, copy it from the first mask and invert the mask. And now you can see I have two masks, one for the sky, one for the vegetation. I do exactly the same for the second picture. So I create here the sky mask, I add in the second mask, I copy from the first mask, and I invert the mask. And so I have also two masks here, sky and vegetation. After I created the masks, I will color them. So here I will color the sky by moving the Kelvin slider to the left. To get the same result here, I also move the slider to the left, also this one to the left, but then I have to go to the level curve, to the blue one, and here I also have to go to the left, and I have to reduce the exposure, and here I have more or less very similar results for the sky. Now I go in both cases to the vegetation mask, and let's start with a yellow mask. So I go here very much to the right, and here I do the same, and you can see that they both look very much the same. Then I can maybe make the sky red. Red. Oops, with the wrong mask. So now I could make the vegetation purple. Or bluish, purplish. And you can see I have here lots of opportunities. I caught here a little bit of the vegetation and with the sky, but that is a minor thing. I maybe should have made the white balance a little bit more accurate. That's what I show you, and to prove that I can come with two different filters to very similar results. And that's the end for today.